thinking about the second stanza of our formal national anthem, it's been said to be formal, which says, O God of creation, direct our noble course, guide our leaders' rights, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty heights attain, to build a nation in Nigeria where peace and justice shall reign. Looking back at all of these, I am forced to ask if Nigerians, both young and old, both are politicians and their subjects, subordinates, and if we truly know the power and strength in these words, why is our country in shambles? Why the constant bloodshed? Have you heard the one happening in Edo State now? Why the hunger, the hardship, the injustice, the inequality, the oppression? Hey, the power tussle, APC, PDP, Labour, ADC, ABGA, all of that, just to mention a few. When will Nigerians begin to enjoy the true dividends of democracy? When will the will of the people be allowed to prevail? We just saw the by-elections. We've seen the outcry. We don't even have to allow anybody to tell us. We saw it. It's been on media, votes buying and all of that. Viewers, if you really have answers to these burning questions, please join this conversation and let's discuss. Let's talk about it and look for the way forward. A good morning to you, viewers, and welcome to today's now streaming morning show coming to you from ACNN TV. I am Promise Njoko Adibe, your uncle, and I have with me my co-anchor. I'm sure she's going to have to talk to us about what's happening in Edo State. She's my co-anchor.
Good morning, Promise.
Good morning.
Good morning, viewers. Nice to be here with you once again. How are we? The issue of Nigeria cannot be overstressed. I am Princess Clement. We'll talk more.
Virtually, we have Comrade Ifeanyi Uzochukwu. He is the Labour Party Chairman, AMAC, and also the Labour Party Chairman of Area Council Chairman, FCT. Comrade, good to have you come talk to us. How are you doing today?
Very fine. Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good
Yeah.
morning, Fanny.
We definitely have a whole lot to talk about. Thank God we have someone from the political space. Well, viewers, don't forget to join this conversation. Remember, the number to call in is showing on your screen. And if you can't call us, please send us your comments. We'll always read them. But then let's quickly, the conversation have started already. But then let's quickly take a look at some headlines of some select newspapers that came in early today. So I'll allow my co-anchor start first.
All right. Thank you very much, Promise. I will begin with the Vanguard newspaper. And above the masthead, Revenue Commission begins fresh allocation formula. On page 8, 2.2 million poor households to receive federal government's cash transfer. Minister. Okay. Hope we are part of this.
Keep dreaming.
Hope it will get to us. And on same page 8, we have Nigerian Guild of Editors, NGE, raises alarm over economy, insecurity, media suppression. This is a very interesting topic. And moving to page 9, we have US, British governments, Northern Can loud. Federal government, NSA over arrest of terror kingpins. The major story here says, federal government vows equal response as US tightens visa rules. Woo! The kicker says embassy now required 5-year social media history for visa applicants. I think this is a good news in the right direction considering the way our youths are messing up on social media. I think this will have a lot of impact. Meanwhile, we'll discuss more of this later. US government revokes 6,000 students' visas. Interagency meeting to fashion out federal government response. You find the story on page 8. And below the picture story, we have paternity crisis. 1 in 4 Nigerian fathers, not biological parents, report. You find this big story on the Vanguard newspaper, page 10. An interesting story. A lot of persons are not ready for marriage, I must tell you, because marriage has a lot to offer. I will discuss this. I am interested in this topic. And the last I will take on this is on page 40, by elections violence. Please prosecute 333 talks government officials in Kano. Arrest others in Ogun. Over to you. Promise.
Okay, thank you very much, Princess. Quickly, we'll be looking at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian newspaper this morning came with a whole lot of bass, but then let's look at it. Oshun local government workers allege bid to hijack council phones. That story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. And then quickly on page 3, presidential tickets were under pressure to zone, says ADC. Still on page 3, on overtime import cargoes worth 12.3 billion naira lying idle at ports. Okay, and on page 6, where we have the lead story there, new licensing charges on settled port operations, 3.3 trillion naira investment. Hey, I don't even.
It
Okay.
is well.
Quickly, APC, PDP, NNPC kick alleged fraud in Oyo, Kaduna, Kano by elections. I said it in my opening. It's not BY elections. It is now BUY elections in Nigeria. They're buying the consciences of Nigerians. You find that story also on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper, and on page 5 you have NCC accused high-profile Nigerians of worsening illegal SIM registration. Okay, since you people know them, do the right thing. Get them arrested. Stop crying foul over the news, the media. Please get them arrested and let's have peace. And still on page 5, US, UK commend Nigeria for arresting terrorist leaders. Well, quickly, let's look at the Punch newspaper. I refuse to comment on UK and US commending Nigeria, like we need to commend you people for doing your job. Okay, the Punch newspaper. I'm going to be a little bit harsh this morning. I hope I'm not too harsh. Let's look at quickly above the masthead. Customs issue 14-day deadline to seize 905 overtime cargoes. And that story is on page 22 of the Punch newspaper. And on crisis alerts, UNICEF seeks life-saving 240 billion naira for Nigerian aid projects. You find that story on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. And still on page 3, Fubara eyes September 18th comeback as IBAS pushes project completion. Okay, the lead story there. FG molds pay raise for political office holders. This one is annoying me. I hope, comrade, you have something to say to this that will maybe calm me down. And that story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. The kicker there says RMA FC says Tinubu's 1.5 million naira salary, ministers under 1 million naira pay low, launches revenue sharing review. Viewers, I hope to get a lot of calls and comments from you as we go on in this show. And then you see the picture story there. Global leaders begin high-stakes talks to end Russia-Ukraine war. And that story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Quickly, let's look at 2 more stories. Pencom blacklists 7 mortgage banks over housing loans breach. Quickly, the last story we'll take. 2 motorcyclists remanded for allegedly raping Ondo teenager. And that story is on page 4 of the Punch newspaper. It is being said allegedly. Please, if they are proven guilty, judge, they should be castrated. We don't want such people on our streets. We don't want them in our climes. How dare you, both of you, rape a teenager? Do you know you've destroyed that child's life? please, they should be castrated. Well, viewers, this is all we can take on the newspaper headlines this morning. Feel free to call in. The number to call in is showing on your screen. And if you can't call in for whatsoever reason, please send us your comments. We'll be glad to, read them and share with every other person what your thoughts are. So quickly, it's actually a bit funny. It's actually a bit funny what's happening in the country. I don't know if it's because of our leadership problem or if it's because of our followership problem. But then, comrade, thank God you're there. I am sure you saw the whole newspaper headlines we read. But let's look at one pressing one. And for me, I don't know how to feel about it. US revokes over 6,000 students' visas over crime and terror ties. Quickly, still on that same vein, Nigerian visa applicants must provide a 5 year social media history. This is coming from the US Embassy. Okay, still there, Nigerian applicants who omit social media history risk visa denial. This is also coming from the US. Then, in response to that, the federal government vows equal response as US tightens visa rules. Okay, let's look at this story, comrade. It's actually annoying, but at the same time funny. The US have come out with this policy, and then our government is, vowing equal response. I beg, how many times US they beg visa to come Nigeria? Well, let me get your view on this particular story, comrade. Over to you.
Uh, Thank you so much once again for having me. I don't think there's any problem with whatever modalities the US want to put in place to safeguard their country, especially for people who are coming into their country, and most especially for a Nigerian that is already riddled with a lot of crimes and so on. Terrorism is on the high. So I think, and you also know that most of those who are involved in terrorism and crime, sometimes if you go through their social media history, you will find traces of some of those their activities. Maybe the intentions that they have displayed over the social media for some years back, until at a time when that thing that was creeping in little by little in their minds now becomes a mountain, that they now physically vent their anger and their venom on the unsuspecting public. So of course, I don't have any issues with whatever Donald Trump wants to make the United States of America the first as a priority. That has always been his slogan, US first. So why can't we now do our own, instead of going to, of course, I can tell you that Nigeria may do little or nothing about that. Instead, they have to find a diplomatic way of appealing for the US to somehow bring down or mellow down on that stringent measures. Why can't Nigeria also put our citizens first? Because it is in protecting their country that such modalities and policies are being put in place. So for us here, who are almost on daily basis trooping out of the country, looking for safe places for to live across the world, why can't we now make Nigeria a habitable place? Just like you mentioned somehow about the politicians and some of the things that the government is now trying to do to still make politics a very attractive business venture. If we can fix our hospitals, fix our health sector, fix our economy, I don't and Nigeria's economy is very strong. I don't think there will be a bargaining chip. Of course, you have something to bargain with, but as it is now, everybody in Nigeria, most people who are traveling out of the country are traveling because Nigeria is no longer a safe place for people to live in. I think one of the reports some years ago gave it that Nigeria is one of the worst countries to live in on earth. One of the worst countries. So it tells you, and then when you look at the things that are happening, corruption that goes without consequences, terrorism. Thankfully, anyway, they have began the arrest of the leaders of these terrorist organizations. I don't think there's anything wrong with what the US is doing. And then on the other side, you talked about the issue of ban or that 6,000 about 6,000 students. Of course, they are not saying the 6,000 Nigerian students who are based in US. 6,000 are students from different parts of the world. So for whatever reasons, I think okay that are linked to crime and terrorism. You see the reason why also it is important to trace people's social media history, because most of the things, before you take an action, you begin to see those things appear in words, in write-ups of individuals. And sometimes, of course, you know that there are people who may not be able to manage that secret evil that they inhabit, that is inhabited in their minds. Some of them will find the social media as a useful tool to propagate, even to recruit other people into their terrorism or criminal activities. So if the students are at the mercy or risk being losing their studentship and to be banished out of United States of America. Let Trump do whatever he can do to protect his country. What we need to do in Nigeria is for government to take the same action, but to see how to also make Nigeria first in Africa and in the world.
Okay. Just hold your thoughts there. I agree, to some extent. Trump needs to do whatever he has to do to protect his citizens. They come first. Okay, but then, I still don't agree 100% that your social media activity for the past 5 years should be a criteria to be granted visa into the US. I'll tell you why. You see, somebody can be very quiet, not showing anything on social media, not saying anything, but he or she is doing worse on the ground. The terrorism acts and all of that. Whereas somebody can be on social media, maybe just commenting and all of that, and then it's being used against, and that person is not even a terrorist. So how do you think they're going to be able to differentiate? Oh, this person has been on social media for over 5 years. He has not said anything bad about terrorism. He has not supported. He has not criticized. But they didn't know that that person has been doing all of these on the ground.
Okay,
That's one. Then
can I,
secondly, you were
can
talking.
I,
Let me ask the two questions so that you can react to them. I'm sure my co-anchor has other questions for you. Now, secondly,
all right.
you're talking about. Oh, okay. I've just been told we have our first caller for the day. Sorry, I'll get back to that.
Nigerians, I really want to appreciate the comrade that has given his contribution on the subject matter of Donald Trump putting 5 years internet media before giving a visa. The truth still remains, every president of his or her nation have to protect his people, his citizens. And that is not only because our anchor lady there, she was saying she does not think that is a yardstick. Some people are quiet, but inside them they are bad. It's not only the yardstick that you have a 5 years good internet lifestyle. There are other things that the embassy look into. But if this law, Nigeria is angry about it, now just go to the social media. You see all manner. Our youth have been sold out, just trying to make money from TikTok, trying to make money from followers, trying to make money from Instagram. Presently, the nakedness rate we have in Nigeria is because of social media. The celebration of crime is because of social media. Now that the social media is having challenges, you see them going into kidnapping, rituals, and the rest. So I believe, my opinion, what Trump is doing is going to even help our youth in Nigeria to leave the social media space with unnecessary activities. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much. Thank you
much.
very much,
Thank you.
Endurance, all the way from Delta. You have spoken well. Thank you. Your contributions are very valid. We encourage other viewers to please call in. The number to call in is showing on your screen. And if you can't call in, please send us your comments via any of our social media platforms. We are always delighted to hear from you. Okay, so comrade, like I was saying, um, uh, even though our caller tried to address what I pointed out, I still think more needs to be done. Then, secondly, we're talking about government saying, vowing, to return equal response. Please, how do they intend to do that? Because putting Nigeria first is not just a 1 day thing. Trump is already ahead. How do we plan to do this for it not to affect maybe Nigerians who are traveling out already? How do you think our government is going to tackle this? Because is it all normal talk and then no action? What bargaining chip do you think we have? Because I can't remember US citizens trooping into embassies wanting to come into Nigeria, unlike we
The way
trying to run
Nigerians
out of the
go.
country. How do you think our government is going to respond to this? Abi, is it just talk?
Um, the best way for me, I think the government can respond to it is by doing the right thing and making Nigeria a good haven for the citizens to live in. Because when I talk about bargaining chip, what will US lose if Nigeria suddenly says, okay, we're going to, of course, if you want to talk about looking at the history, a 5 year history of any US, any citizen of the United States that wants to come to Nigeria, I believe that they would have maybe close to a clean record of 5 years, because what Trump is introducing in Nigeria is something that they've been practicing with their citizens for decades. Your social media activities are being studied to be able to know, so that once there is any crime with your social media activities for the past few couple of years back, they can be able to say, okay, this person have had these tendencies. Actually, this person has actually done this or done that or done the other one before, and so it is likely that these actions that we have seen now, that this person actually carried it out, if they want to, if they are actually carrying out investigation on that individual. So also for us in Nigeria, the best thing is that, for me, I don't think that there's anything. Well, anyway, let us look at maybe in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Let's see whether government, will, if there's anything, they should be able to be bold to tell us what they are going to do as payback or retaliation to what
Exactly.
US has
Exactly.
brought on board. But let us have punishment for crimes, whether for political office holders or public office holders. When crimes are not don't receive punishment, you see it escalate. We have been hearing about terrorism. In fact, even terrorist leaders who in their communities are chiefs, are kings, hold 1 or 2 titles. You see, it becomes a problem. So when our own work is to make Nigeria a good, of course, government has also been talking about foreign direct investment. So if there are investors who are coming from the US, how will you pay them back? Because your country is somehow in a mess, and you are looking for direct investment that will help to stabilize the economy and to make the economy to grow. So make your place a good, a stable, make the economy stable, so that you can be able to attract other countries. Let US have a reason why they want to partner with Nigeria. For now, what are the things that we have? Maybe the oil, the mineral resources, which we give at a giveaway price, and then when we want to bring them in back, we bring them in at a very huge prices. Can we begin to do processing of our mineral resources, our gold, and so on? Can the same way crude oil has become a Nigerian property? Can we also make gold in the north, and other mineral resources across the country to also be government property, so that there can be equal distribution of wealth across the nation? And then can we also use our resources to build infrastructure? While the government is building coastal road from Lagos to Calabar, we still have our internal roads within Nigeria that are at very sorry state.
Mm.
If we are dealing with coastal roads, when the ones that will help in internal economic activities to thrive are not being put in place, so what's the essence of the coastal road that will take how many trillions?
Okay, so
So I think, let us put our Nigeria first, just like US is putting their own countries first, and then we'll have a reason why we can begin to do retaliation if it's at all necessary.
okay, you have really spoken well. I love the angle you came from. Before my co-anchor asks the question, I said partly I didn't agree 100% with what Trump was doing with regards to the social media 5 years, whatever, because you could actually arrest an innocent person while leaving the guilty. But then, if that is what it would take to put our leaders on the spotlight, if that is what it would take to force them to do the right thing, then so be it. It's a plus. It's a go ahead. In fact, Trump, I don't just raise my two thumbs for you. I doff my hat for you. If they'll be pushed, because there was a time there's this news that flew about somebody, a highly placed Nigerian, not being granted is it permanent residency in Canada or so. I'm not too sure, simply because of something he did in this country. If that is what it will take, if our politicians, they might not be on social media, but they travel out the way they want, they come back anytime they want, if it will stop them from traveling out, not just to the US, not just to Canada, but to every other country, let all of us remain in Nigeria. If that ban can go round, irrespective of who is involved, if it can go around, I'm sure it will force our politicians to put Nigeria in place, to make Nigeria a better place. So let me allow our princess ask you some other questions with regards to what we're talking about.
All right, thank you very much, Promise. Oh, thank you so much, Endurance. You've spoken so well. In regards to the fact that most of the cases we have that the US president is reacting to is towards the students who are there primarily maybe to learn and get better. And it's been said that allegedly that these students have been involved in fundraising for terrorist groups, and also they are found guilty of driving under alcohol influences. I don't know, I said allegedly, I'm not too sure of that, but that is the information making round. I want to ask you, what do you think is the best solution for students who maybe will be deported afterwards? After being found guilty of this, definitely they will not be allowed to stay back there in the US to study. What do you think the government, the federal government, since they are vowing to take equal response to the US, what do you think the government should do better to help those that have been deported, or how to make their life become better?
6,000 students that were being talked about were all Nigerian students.
Yeah.
Were there? I'm not sure.
Not all, not
So
all, but
if
we are prioritizing ours now. What do you think we should do differently?
let them come back to Nigeria and go to Nigerian schools and enjoy the luxury we enjoy in Nigerian schools. What is wrong with the Nigerian universities and the Nigerian institutions? Because most of those, if you are not a person of means, you will not send your child abroad to go and study. So if is possible, of course, although that is on a lighter note, for all Nigerians studying abroad to come back, I can tell you that education system in Nigeria will be fixed in no in no in no in no in that is in few months. But because our politicians, those who are of people of means, have the wherewithal to send their children to any place across the world, so the education system in Nigeria is in comatose. So I believe that probably while we let them come back and then let their parents fix them in Nigerian schools, there are still private universities that could offer little or something close to the luxury they enjoy abroad. The only thing I may say is that the level, the academic standard, I cannot say because over the years I can't remember the last time any of the Nigerian universities is even up to 100 in the world. That is best universities in the world. So let them come back
Comrade, please,
and maybe
don't, comrade, don't break
afresh in
that table.
Nigeria.
No.
Comrade, please, we're managing that table.
I think
Our
he should be allowed
educational
to pour
system,
his
no,
heart.
our educational system, we're managing that table. The leg is no longer remaining one; is remaining. That one leg that is holding the table is already shaking, and the moment you crash it now, we don't know how to pull it up
But
again.
truth must
So,
be spilled.
yeah,
So
yeah,
please go
yeah.
ahead and say it the way it is.
Comrade, you were talking about education and they coming back. Are you being sarcastic about that? If it was your younger one who was there, would you say he should come back? They should bring him back. Let him
Why
join the.
not?
I'm actually
Okay,
acting comrade.
if they have resources, they should take them to other countries now.
Okay.
It's not only here they have universities.
And you
They
think
should
other
take or not.
countries?
They also there are other institutions, education institutions across the world. So with them their means, they can always send these children or their the words to any place. But the major challenge you will see is that most of these people who actually go abroad for studies, they come back without character, without moral. There is nothing besides the fact that they receive excellent academic maybe good learning environment and so on. Sometimes they come back worse in terms of moral than they were before they left Nigeria. So
Okay.
maybe they come back so that they will be part of Nigeria's problem that we have to solve.
No, we have more than enough. We don't want more. But then you have a
They
point.
are citizens.
Yeah, they are
They are
citizens.
citizens.
Yeah,
Now.
yeah, you're
We
correct. You're
we need
correct.
to
But we
let
don't want
them
them to
come
come
back.
back with what I'm saying is we don't want them to come back with more problems. Let them come back better than the way they left. Because the truth is
It's an existential problem that we have to deal with. Most of people, even whether politicians or people of means, think that they prioritize academic achievement, that is more than even the character that these children are supposed to imbibe,
You're right.
morals. And so sometimes you see them, they come back for us that are against LGBT, whatever, whatever. Some of them come back gay, some of them come back, a young man coming back with another young man as his wife. A lot of things happen. In fact, it's even risky now to even take your family abroad and say you are moving there because by the time you get there, the authority you have over your children is no longer
Yes,
there
I can
because
relate on
you should
that.
do
I can
anything.
relate.
In Nigeria here, of course, the law is on your side, but you go there, the child can call a police and you are arrested. So where will you begin to train that child on morals and so on? I can tell you that many of them who have studied abroad come back drug addicts. They come back with different. So whether they are being they are sent out of the country, or they are coming back to Nigeria, or they come back after their studies, they don't come back better. Apart from that academic qualification, I studied in Harvard, I studied in so and so and so and so, Cambridge and so on. What else? How about your character?
And
How
the
about your
ego that
morals?
comes with
At
it.
least we have an African tradition that helps to still preserve some morals. They travel there and then those morals are shattered.
okay. I think this is where the scripture comes in. Train up a child in the way he should grow, and when he
Of
grows,
course.
he will not depart from it. So, parents, we have our jobs cut out for us. Whether your child is still a teenager, whether it's an adult, whichever, we really have to do better. We in fact, upbringing is full-time job. We need to do better, because if our children are properly trained up, and these morals, the fear of the Lord is being instilled in them, it will be very difficult for them to derail. It will be difficult. So, comrade, thank you very much for that. Let's quickly look at, we've been talking, Nigerians have been talking of hunger, we've been talking of, the whole economy, being in shambles. But then something interesting came up. It's been said our president's 1.5 million naira salary and our ministers who earn under 1 million naira, that their pay is low. So there is, like a revenue sharing review. I know you've seen that story. I know you've read it. Comrade, let me get your reaction. Looking at the fact that you're also a politician. So I don't know whether you're going to say the truth the way it is, or you're going to say it in the way that when you get in there, it will also favor you. But on this show, we will always call you out. And trust me to always do that. At least I know you. So let's get your view on this. 1.5 million for the
I'm not in
president.
government. I'm not in government, but what I want to ask is that if their salaries are this low, why do they kill themselves to get to that seat?
Good question.
If it's the problem, if the problem is salary, let us stop deceiving ourselves. The president currently now is the minister of petroleum, is he not? So has he told us how much he's earning from the petroleum sector where he is the minister? See, has is a Nigerian problem, or the problem with public office holders is this salary, the budgets and the contracts that are overestimated, overrated. You, and as an individual, you can build your own house depending on the kind of house. Let's say a bungalow. You can build a bungalow 6 or 4 bedroom flat of, let's say, um, uh, let me just be, let's say 40 million. I mean, not the cost of land inclusive. I'm just talking about
The
a mild
building.
budget. But the same contract, let it be handled by government. You hear something like 1 billion. You hear something like 2 billion. You hear something like 3 billion. I've had this. I've mentioned this in ACNN some time ago. A place I got an information from somebody who was working in a health facility. Then it was an infrared that was sold in the market for, I think, 15,000 naira or so. The person went to the store to get the infrared because of the nature of the work they do in the office. It's a health facility. And then they had that infrared, 4 of them in the store. And the cost of getting one infrared, which in the market is 15,000 naira, was at the cost of, I think, 2 million naira for each infrared. That means that when you divide 2 million naira by 15,000 naira, you could be getting over 100 infrared, but that was the cost amount that was used to purchase just one, and they got about 4 of them. The cost of governance is too high. I think a lot of people have been saying that the cost of governance is too high. While you are talking about somebody can be earning a salary of even 100,000 naira, and the person has landed properties worth 10 billion. So I see most of the directors who are directors in government. If you look at the salaries of directors, maybe at most maybe 500,000. I don't know. I don't work in the public service or civil service. But when you look at the investment that director has in terms of properties and even cash in the bank, you'll be asking, is it, what miracle happened that in the person's 35 years of service, that the person may not even, if the person will not even touch his or her salary, the amount they are worth is no way commensurate with the amount that the amount they are supposed to be worth based on their salary and maybe emoluments and whatever is way lower than what they are worth currently.
Mm.
So it's not about the salary. Let us, in fact, I'm even advocating, like even in the National Assembly, it should be a part-time job. There are a lot of jobless people in the National Assembly.
Agreed.
People
Agreed.
who year in year out are not passing any bill. They are not making any comment concerning any bill. They are just there. The only thing is that the achievement is that they have been in the National Assembly for 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, 16 years. There are those that it has look it is now something like a birthright. Let this National Assembly stuff, let it be, and then you also look at the budget, because when the president is talking about his own now, maybe the Senate president and the speaker will come out and also make me say that this is they are the ones who approve monies. They can allocate any amount that they want to themselves and their cronies. So if the money is not coming directly in the name of Bola Ahmed Tinubu earning 1.5 million, there are contracts that the president can actually approve. From the back door, he can get far much more than what is 1.5 million. After all, in fact, is he supposed to even earn anything? Because before when they were contesting this election in 2023 during the
They were
campaign, the
talking
wife
about
told us that they
money.
don't need Nigerians money.
Yes,
So why
Exactly.
are they
they have
complaining
more than
about that? They
enough.
were wealthy enough. They don't need. What they are coming is to contribute their own wealth of
Mm.
experience to the country. So they don't even need money. So why are they talking about salary review as if they are doing anybody any good?
You know why I had to ask this is you actually took that out of my thoughts when you pointed out what the wife of the president said during campaign, that they don't need money. So if you really don't need money, why are you complaining? Why? Because tomorrow the federal government will come out to say, oh, we weren't the ones that complained. It is the people in charge that felt it is low and all of that. So because it's actually a slap. It is the height of disrespect to Nigerians. 70,000 naira minimum wage have still not been implemented in some states till today, because the governors are saying we can't pay, but you have the guts to come out to say somebody earning 1.5 million naira who is allegedly richer than Nigeria itself, and you're saying the person is earning that salary is low. Are you people for real? I listened to what was his name? One of them, is it Nwebonyi, saying since he entered politics he became poorer. Hell God, what are you talking about? You became poorer since you entered politics, so what are you still doing there? Pack your bag and go back home so that you can become richer. I actually told myself to be calm on this show today because I'm actually very pissed. You're not just urinating and pissing all over our faces, you're excreting on our faces, and it is unacceptable. You people are supposed to be serve Nigerian people, not lord your will over us. You oppress us, you intimidate us, you put us in shackles. And you come out to say you became poorer since you entered politics, and you're still in politics? As a wise
Let me
man,
can I add something?
as a
Let me
wise
just add
man,
something.
hold on, please let me vent out. As a wise man, when you feel you are in a business and you're not making profit, you are poor, the wise thing to do is leave that business and go back to where you've been making money. You were richer before you entered that business. You were richer before you entered politics. So since politics is not is making you poorer, please leave politics
In every area.
and go back to whatever it is
Yes.
that was giving you money. Our politicians are really
Okay,
taking Nigerians for granted, and I think this should stop. It should stop.
just
Nigerians
just
demand better.
just to
Comrade,
just to
let's hear
buttress my
you.
point. Just to buttress my point. I hope you are aware that the Super Falcons that won the African Women African Waffle whatever
Another
cup,
story.
it was the president that approved that they should be given each of them $100,000, and $100,000, and what else again?
They were
A
giving, yeah,
house, each of
houses,
them a
yes.
house in a property in Abuja.
Mm-hmm.
So if the president had the powers and the listen to approve such money, okay, let's say dollar is at 1,000. Let's say dollar is at 1,500. That's about 1.5 million
That's
for no, no,
150
not 1.5,
million.
150 million.
Yeah.
That's about 150 million per distance, which is the president's salary for the next 10 years. I think more or more. You understand? So if you can approve such this thing for just an individual, and there are how many in a team? About 24. Each person will go with $100,000. So he shouldn't. They shouldn't be deceiving us with some of these flimsy excuses. It's just a kind of distraction. Of course, you know that Nigerians have most times. Unfortunately, we have short memory. When
Yeah.
you bring up one issue on the table, they forget the last one
The
that was
other one.
on that discussion. So it may be a way to take our minds off from some very topical issues that we should be discussing about in Nigeria, as regards our welfare, our economy, and our infrastructure.
It's really really very annoying, the part of the annoyance, when I was talking, I said they were pissing all over our faces. Part of it is bringing it on social media, and we have it on our national dailies, and you expect a Nigerian out there who is working hard and goes on with 3,000 naira per day as a laborer, goes on with 3,000 naira per day, and that 3,000 can't even feed his family. You expect him
Feed
to
only
read
him.
the Nigerian dailies and he's happy that you people are trying to review. Hey,
When you
who does
mentioned
this kind thing?
when you mentioned feed the family, that one got me pissed off. Extra, because we are talking of feeding an individual. Three
Ah,
thousand naira
God.
is not enough to feed
God.
an individual per day.
God.
So we are going to talk about the issue of Nigerian Guild of Editors, who raises alarm over economy, insecurity, media suppression. When we are talking about all this, you should understand, because our guest is trying to address this issue already, so I want us to take it alongside. And there is also a trending story about the police students who threaten nationwide protest over Dangote truck accident. All these stories put together are part of the problems weighing Nigerians down. How do you feel wherever you are that you are not sure of your return when you leave your house? How do you even feel? As we are talking right now, there is a part of Benue State, Orokamu, precisely very close to Obolafo in Enugu State. You will find out that people there can no longer sleep because these terrorists come to their home, not outside their home, come to their home, kill them, or kidnap them, take them away, and start demanding for ransom. At the end of the day, you are not safe in your house. You are not safe when you are on your way to your offices or where you're earning from. You're not saved in your office as well. What do you think? I'm trying to address this, Mr.
Comrade
Ifeanyi, please,
Ifeanyi,
Comrade
yeah.
Ifeanyi, we still need you on this. How do you want Nigerians who are already angry to feel happy seeing these stories making around this morning, that the federal government, who we know very well, are enjoying? They are sleeping on their waterbed. They are enjoying everything we lack. They are enjoying every comfort in their comfort zone, and they still spill out trash. Sorry to say that they need extra money when the main people working, the students who have graduated, are seeking for job opportunities, no job anywhere, and peradventure you even have a job, hey, the salary is nothing to write home about.
Peanuts.
Because by the end of the day, you go to the market, a bag of rice is how much?
Please don't even talk about that.
Yes, that is the point. A kilo of meat is how much? And how do you expect
Buy
a family?
tomatoes, stock more of meat.
It's something else. Do you even understand that the fact that we say we cannot even afford to buy fresh tomatoes, and we're trying to divert to buy the branded one? The branded ones are messed up already because people just want to make ends meet. People just want to sell something, so they gather flour, put color inside, and at the end
Oh,
of the day, you think
goodness.
you're buying a tomato paste, and it is not a paste. It is worse than what a human being should consume. I want you to react to these issues because it is affecting every one of us. Over to you, Comrade Ifeanyi.
Uh, Thank you. The thing about it is that Nigerians will continue to be where we are until we decide that we're going to take the bull by the horn and take our destinies in our hands. Let me tell you, politicians, I'm a politician, and I can tell you that when the people rise up to stand for their rights, those individuals who claim to be powerful, they become afraid.
Yes.
But because we have I keep saying, even when I speak with my people, my executives and so on, I tell them that it is only in the animal kingdom. I like to use that analogy because that is only what helps to send the message in their ears and in their brains and in their minds. In the animal kingdom, you see the lion. The lion is only powerful and able to take out a herd of buffalo when they become isolated.
Mm-hmm.
When they become isolated. But when you have the buffaloes, the herd of buffaloes together, the lion will run away. He's the king of the jungle. When he's because of course they are very, very crafty and they know how to pick out their targets. When these politicians, I can tell you, when we stand up for our rights, call the politicians. You see, a lot of times we put our eyes on the president. Let me tell you, why is it that over the years successive presidents have not even been able to realize whatever it is that they promise as electoral, they are in their electoral promises and campaigns and so on. There are people who also are their lieutenants, there are people who are ministers, there are people who are in the National Assembly. Why don't we, the day that these National Assembly members will come to the town to show us that they want to come and greet the people that elected them, lock up the door and then let them tell you what they've been able to achieve since they got to that seat. Can we begin to call them to question and begin now to remind them, now that you're not doing anything, don't come for campaign. Oh,
You,
there's nothing wrong personally, so that this thing they call jungle justice is because it's the English that the white man has given to us. Because if a politician does messes up and you beat him up in the city, it's city justice. If it's in the rural area, it's rural justice. So whatever it is, let us create the democracy that suits that suits Africa, that suits Nigeria,
okay, okay,
and practice it.
comrade,
All
comrade.
this alien democracy that we are practicing is not helping us in the country.
Comrade, our time is fast spent. I still want us to look at one more story before we go. But then, I want to ask. We're talking. She talked about insecurity and all of that. It
Education.
had to take very dark man to stop a Dangote truck. People have been killed. Like I don't know if you saw that video. People, we had someone whose two legs were amputated. People have been killed, and when the truck was opened, it was human beings that came out of the truck, not cement. It took one individual to stop those trucks and
Just
said,
one.
you are not moving until 9 p.m. when everybody must have been home. The road is free. Is it not the job of the government? Where is Mr. Monday Okpebolo? You said you're the new sheriff in town. Where are you? This is happening in your state. Look at the roads, death traps. Especially now
I
that
think
it's rainy season.
you just have to buttress my point
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
fact that the very bad man, supposing we have hundreds
Oh, very
and
dark man.
thousands
That's
of
what
the
I'm
very bad
trying to
man
Ten,
say.
across
just 10 of
Nigeria.
him.
That's what I'm trying to
Honestly.
say. If Nigerians can
Nigerian
come
youths,
out,
yes.
Nigerians, we have what it takes.
Yes,
These people
we
are
have
not
it.
bigger than us. They are meant to
Of course.
be our. They said they want to be
Our
servants. They're meant
servants.
to serve us. They're meant to be
Yes.
our servants. But how can a servant not be bigger than his master? Oh God, God help us in this country. But Nigerians, I know we can do better if we decide to. If I say no to corruption and rise up to do the right thing, she says no to corruption and rise up to do the right thing. Every other person out there does the same. I'm sure we'll get Nigeria.
We'll
We will
definitely
force
get it.
them
We are not
to
ready.
do the right thing. We're
We are
just
not
not
ready.
ready.
We are
So,
not
comrade,
ready.
we have just about a minute to end this show. I just want you to react to the policy on education for public and private primary schools, like the directive that came all the way from Imo State. No more parties, graduations,
Graduations.
except for those in I think primary 6
Primary
and
6 and SS3.
and then vis-a-vis the textbook things, because we saw that parents are now being mandated to buy textbook almost every year, every school session. But then Imo State governor have come out to say through the Minister of Education there said, sorry, Commissioner of Education, they said no more. Let's siblings be able to
Use
use
at
the
least.
textbooks, because I knew then growing up we were able to. I used my elder sister's textbook. My younger ones also used mine. But what's your take? Do you think that should be replicated in other parts of the country? And let that be your last word. Let's take that as your last word for the show, please.
I think for once, I think the Imo State government this is step in the right direction.
Mm.
I agree with them. Education has become exploitative. You see, I like in my house. You see books that all the younger ones should use. The books are still new, but they cannot use it because of the trick of carrying out assignments or homework in the textbook.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when they carry out those assignments in the textbook, they render that book useless for the next set of persons to use it. But why don't you do your own assignment on the notebook and then allow the textbook to be transferred from one generation to the other?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
It is so. I think it's a step in the right direction. And just in closing, I want to say that Nigerians, it's time for us to. We can never get things right until, just like I said earlier, until we take up to do the right thing and to stand firm on our rights. I can tell you that Nigeria will be better if everybody begins in his own area, wherever small area of influence, begin to insist that the right thing is done. Call whoever it is, whether a principal or whether a House of Rep member or a senator, they are not as powerful as you think they are.
True.
I can tell you that because I'm in the system. They are not as powerful. The powers that they accord themselves is the powers that you volunteer, you gave to them. It is your powers you have that you gave to them. And the day you decide that you withdraw that power and call them to question, things will
Okay.
begin to get right. Nigeria will be better. Let
Thank
us
you.
give it. Let us not lose hope in this country. The better days are ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much, comrade. We truly appreciate your contribution. And yes, we appreciate the network. We didn't have any glitch. Kudos to the network. Thank you very much, comrade. Let me quickly get your last words in 20 seconds.
Thank you very much, Promise. Thank you, viewers. It's a beautiful day already, and as you can see, a lot has been said. If you know you are part of those that is making the state of this country go gaga, if you know you are contributing to the downfall of this country, please, as a leader, check your conscience. We need a lot to be checked in this country. There's educational sector is crying. Day and night, students are being deprived of quality education because what? The welfare of the teachers are not in check. People go to school from one year to the other, spend 5 years in the school, and at the end of the day, they come back home earning peanuts. Please, we can do better. And also to the security agencies, we appreciate your effort, but we still need more to be done because a lot of lives are in risk. We can't sleep, we can't eat, we can't drink in peace. And I want to conclude by saying the best will definitely be the story of Nigerians. Thank you very much, Promise.
Amen. Thank you very much. And to our viewers out there, thank you for staying with us all through this 1 hour. To our caller all the way from Delta State, we truly appreciate your contribution. Thank you so much to those behind the scene, Mr. Godsend and his crew. Thank you very much for putting up this show. And I want to encourage you viewers to please stay glued to all our social media platforms for more interesting programs coming up your way, even for your children. So I just want to tell us that Nigeria is blessed. We are Nigerians, we are blessed. Let's stop focusing on these leaders. Let us focus on ourselves. Just like Comrade said, they are not as powerful as you think they are. The day we take back our rights, the day we decide to stand for ourselves and seek justice and equality for all, that's the day these leaders will start learning to do the right thing. So until we come your way again tomorrow, same time, same station, with another interesting episode of the Now Streaming, please stay safe out there. Please, not every driver is driving right. Stay safe out there. Bye for now.